You want to question it, question everything, question even what I'm saying to you. In today's video, we are going to be discussing several topics all in one. And first is going to be how your shadow was born. Secondly, how to decondition yourself from the conditioning so that you can live your life more authentically. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rayanne Chi, and yes, it's a different look because I will discuss this in the part of deconditioning, because this is part of the deconditioning. It's challenging a certain aspect of myself that I have clung onto a certain belief that this is what looks good. And I have fought that piece of me for quite some time. And so I decided, we are going to lean into the look that my soul has been calling for me, which is this very dark look, which I actually enjoy. And I almost topped it off with just all black, but we wanted the hair to stand out. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how your shadow was born and how you can decondition yourself, because in the shadow, there has been many conditions, learned behaviors, patterns, aspects of yourself that you thought was acceptable around your environment, in society, and what others thought of you. And in the process, as I go about discussing and talking about how the shadow was born, I will also talk about ways you can decondition yourself in the process, where it's really the unlearning and the relearning. We have been indoctrinated, and it has happened for thousands of years. So it's a deep indoctrination. And we live in a very beautiful and interesting time, because it's either you're being more aware and conscious of what's going around, or you're not. And when you are, you're seeing the truth of who you are. And you're seeing that what you once believed, is it really truth? What you once believed, is it really something that you have to abide by? What you once believed, is it something that you must follow? And so in this video, it's really going to test your concepts of life and how you see yourself, along with challenge you in the thought-provoking way of challenging you to really question your entire existence and how you live your life up until now. So how was the shadow born? The shadow, and this is a psychological aspect. Shadow was coined by Carl Jung, and we are talking about bringing psychological wholeness. So when you were a young child, and even into adolescence, a lot of it happens in the early years, because children tend to live in the theta state, which is they are easily impressed upon. And that's why you hear the term, children are like sponges. So as you were in your childhood and growing up, you wanted to fit in, but fit in a way that provided for your basic psychological need. And we all have it. And that is the need to belong, the need for love, and the need for safety and security. So in the process of going through life, the things that you acted upon may have been looked at based on your environment's conditioning, gave you labeled the very thing that you were doing, and said something about it that threatened your psychological need. And so, for example, a child has energy coming through the body. They are expressing in some type of tantrum, flailing around, and a parent scolds them, a parent reprimands this child. And so through the process of that happening over and over and over, the child is now conditioned that I must not do that same action because it is bad. Another example is a child will be in school and they will act very silly or bold or outrageous and loud and just expressing. And the teacher or the other student started to laugh at this kid, and so threaten the psychological need to belong. And so this child now then decided, I should not act that way. I should act something different so that I can fit in. And this is where now the aspects of this child, which is still very much underdeveloped, this is what happens with shadow work, is you're developing these aspects within yourself. Very much underdeveloped, continues to stay underdeveloped because now it's been pushed back. It's been put in a box, a container, a bag, hidden away. And so as this child grows up, that need to express this aspect within itself will manifest in different ways. And then that same person is left asking themselves, why do I keep doing the same thing? Why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep doing that same thing? And I promised myself that I'm not. And so now this person probably could be living in some type of shame or guilt. And now this pattern perpetuates and it becomes a cycle. So in the process of shadow work, you will learn that, oh my God, I have been living under these conditions, under a rule or a law that this is how I'm supposed to be acting based on what society says because I wanted to fit in. And so integration becomes a little bit challenging because once you start to integrate, you start developing these aspects of yourself. And the key is creating the balance within yourself. So you start acting on this former type of aggression in a healthy way. Oh my God, it feels good. And for some, they might unconsciously act on it. And so they may tend to do it in an even more aggressive scale, which is like abuse, some type of abuse. And it's energy. And so when you go through the integration process, you're becoming this person who is whole psychologically, and now you're figuring out how to find this balance, right? So then we lead to the how to decondition yourself from this. And one of them is that integration. One is clearly looking deeper into shadow work, okay? And really understanding all the aspects, the full spectrum, not just looking at one side, but the whole entire spectrum, and finding the balance within yourself. The other way is you can test and feel how that feels. The only way, and it's more like a challenge, the only way that you're going to decondition yourself is that you challenge the current conditioning. And so, for example, we're now leading into this hairdo. I naturally have dark hair. I do. I don't know if it's this dark, but I have dark hair. It's black, honey. She is dark. Her hair is dark. It's dark. And I've noticed that lately there's been this calling, this soul calling, and I see this vision of this person that you're looking at right now, because I love to play with dark makeup and just refuse to just go back to my dark hair. And this soul calling from my heart space keeps there's this vision that I continuously see, which is this look. And it challenged the way I subconsciously changed my hairstyle throughout. I've had so many different hair color. Oh my goodness, as you guys have seen, if you've been watching my videos, but it always stayed in the realms of fashion color. But before that, I had different types of blondes, but never just one color. And so this morning, I finally caved in, and I'm looking at myself, and it felt so foreign because I'm so used to the old way of how I see my hair, whether that be fashion color or some type of blonde or a lighter color. Never just my natural hair color. And this would be the closest to my natural hair color. And so I put this on and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, very interesting. And so there's a part of you that feels like, which is really the ego, the lower mind, the conscious mind, that filters in this information. And because when there's a threat to the ego, there's going to be fear. And so there's now this back and forth, like, I don't know. But then your heart pulls you and it's like, no, you really should do it. And it's like, oh, but it looks weird. I don't know. And all this happens. And so I'm in this position now. And this is where you really want to start getting to, is learning how to recognize when you are feeding too much of this energy pocket. And in a book called Reality Transurfing, it would be pendulum or even an egregore. And so you're aware of this, you catch yourself, and you lean into and create a mind and heart coherence. And so you create some sort of balance within yourself where you're not excessively thinking about, oh, I shouldn't and I should not. And so then you go about your day and then it paralyzes you and keeps you stuck. And this is where a lot of people end up. So that's another part of the deconditioning, is to challenge what you already know. Because really, we don't, truth of the matter is, I don't know everything. It may seem like I do, but I don't. I don't have the answers to everything. And other people outside of me, my external world, can give me other answers to what I'm looking for. But also, I also have an understanding of where my beliefs stand so that I'm not swayed by some shiny object, okay? And this is the balance I've created within myself, and this is the balance you can create within yourself. And I always say, master thyself, know thyself. So now, when you start doing that, right, you're going to feel some type of resistance. You will. It's part of it, because the program that you've held on to, the paradigm, is so embedded that when it does get challenged, it seems like a foreign thing is coming in. Challenging it, you're going to get some type of resistance. But you do it anyway. Another layer to this, how to decondition yourself, is asking why it is so. Or even going beyond just what you are fed. For example, the media. We have been taught to trust authority figures because they must know something. And that happens from teacher, student. Okay? So you look up to authorities and there's trust. So therefore, that means everybody else is doing things for my best interest. Is that really the truth? From the outside, it may look like that. And so you want to question it, question everything, question even what I'm saying to you. Because when you start this process and you start to really unlearn and relearn, you'll start to, there's a click that happens when you know, and you just know, because it feels, there's a resonance. When it doesn't resonate and makes you go, you may want to go deeper and dig into that instead of just relying on the conditioning you've had in the past and saying, oh, that's, oh, they're doing it for our own good. It's okay, we can trust them. And that's that piece. So, leading into and how you can live more authentically. Naturally, what happens with shadow work and when you go on this journey and other modalities that help with shadow work, you'll start to tap into different aspects of yourself where you really come out just as who you are. And you come out without thinking a thought about what so-and-so will think of it, how will this and that, none of that, because it feels good, and it feels good to your soul. And your soul, your higher self, your highest version, is always leading you to the right path. And a lot of the times when we don't step into that because the unknown is always scary, it is, then we stay back and we tend to repeat the same thing over and over in that reality. So challenge yourself today and do something outside the norm, okay? If you've been called for a new look, but you really don't want to, put in the effort of changing your entire hairstyle, get a wig. I mean, these don't cost that much. Try it on, try different looks, walk around, feel into it, look at yourself every single time. Okay, look at yourself in the mirror and feel it out. You don't have to commit to an entire hairdo and go to the salon and chop it all off. But if you're being called that's what you feel like, because there's also power in detaching, in letting go of the things that we've held on to for such a long time. There's power in people when they do cut their hair and get a new hairstyle. There's power to that because it puts you in a different state of reality, as in a new version of you that you can actually tap into and develop. And that's all about shadow work as well, is really developing these underdeveloped aspects of yourself. And so you have this feeling of psychological wholeness because you see everything, all of it. And there's not a judgment of it because it's energy. It's really how it's used. So if you enjoyed this video, give this video a like and please subscribe to my channel, okay, if you haven't already. Also, I am going to be giving away a free course. It's going to be a 3-day mastermind on how to not give a flying effing of what others think and live your life more authentically. And that is going to be in the link down below. It's going to take you to Facebook and it's going to be happening in a Facebook group. So if that's something that you are interested in, I am doing this for 3 days only. And then after 3 days, it's going to get shut down. The Facebook is shut down and that's it. So you show up, you don't, you miss out. Will I do it again? I don't know. This is another calling where I'm listening to my guidance. So I truly hope that you enjoyed this video. Go out and do something fabulous, testing or not testing, but challenging your beliefs and just see how it feels. See how it feels. See how good it feels. Because a lot of the times when we are being called, it does feel scary because the ego is there to keep you back, which is really within you. And so it's your job to say, not today, not today. I'm going to follow my heart and enjoy this blissful moment. So with that, I conclude this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.